Hi, everyone. It's Diane Evans with stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So welcome. This is part of my How Did They Do That series. This is one of my favorite ones that I've been doing, and that's on techniques. And that's where I'll show you various ways of doing different types of techniques. And just so that it inspires you to create beautiful cards on your own as well. So if you are watching this as part of a replay, just beware this was a live. And I will be talking with various people as they do come on. I do like to greet people as they come on, but I also like to answer their questions. And they may be questions that you have yourself. So hello, Mashwari, and hello, Barb. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you joined me. So like I say, this is part of my technique, How Did They Do That series. And today what we're going to do is the tarnished foil technique. You know what? I feel like I've been really digging deep into my techniques, but honestly, I've been doing this for quite a while, but also these are things that I used to give out in my booklets when they'd come to class. But in any event, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the tarnished foil technique. Hello, Pam and Janet. And Kay, hello, and Ina, and Margaret. Oh my goodness, we got people from Australia. We've got people from there, from the East Coast of Canada. And then, of course, we've got people from the West Coast as well. So awesome. In any event, this one is another embossing folder technique. Surprise, surprise. I cannot believe that. In any event, hello, Felicia. And if you are on Facebook, I do not know who you may be if you didn't give StreamYard permission. So I apologize if I don't reach out to you. Now, if you are on YouTube, make sure that you're subscribed, and you've subscribed just down below here. Hit that bell and you'll get notified immediately as soon as I do go live. But in any event, like I say, this is another embossing powder technique. If you still are struggling with the embossing powder, just keep trying with it, because honestly, it's just opened up a whole new lot of different techniques that you can do. And I think this tends really well and lends really well to do masculine cards. So this one, like I say, is a great one to use for masculine. So what you're going to do, and yeah, and before I start, actually, I wanted to tell you, tomorrow is the huge 15% off stamp sale. So if there's anything in the annual catalog that you just have to have, tomorrow's the day to purchase it. But remember, it also coincides with the bonus points. So here in Canada, you spend the $60, you get a $6 coupon to spend next month. So, you know, it's kind of nice. It's all going together. Yeah, I know. I love techniques too. All right. So we are going to look at this color combination. We are using copper clay and black. So that's going to be a fun sort of thing. We're actually going to be using the Biggest Wish stamp set on this particular card. So remember, you can get it at 15% off. One thing I will say, that if you are looking at a bundle, it doesn't really save to go with getting the stamp set at 15% off, because the higher price is actually you get 10% off of a bundle. It's a better deal to get the bundle than it is to go with the stamp set at 15%. And I'm just telling you that because that's the way that it is. So you already have the 15% off sale. Well, of course, you're already in tomorrow, right? All right, so with this technique, what you want to do is you want to grab a piece of silver foil. Now, we have silver foil. It comes in a 3-pack. It has like a gun barrel foil. It has this foil, and it has another one, and I can't remember which one it is. Unfortunately, I really wish that we had just plain silver, but I'm going to show you how you go about this. Now, what you're going to need you are going to need some Stays-On cleaner. Stays-On ink. You're going to need some Versamark. I have, and you've seen me use this before, where I use a sponge dauber with my Versamark, and I'm going to go ahead and use that again today. And then we're going to need an embossing folder. And the embossing folder I'm going to use today is going to be the exposed brick. This happens to be one of the other ones. I'm going to show you what it looks like with the twisted rope. So we'll see how that kind of, you'll see, and you'll kind of get to pick which ones you really like. Awesome. So let's get started on this technique. I really don't like stays on for stamping, and I understand there is a use for it, but be very, very careful, especially if you're using a photopolymer stamp set, because this can damage your stamp set. It won't damage it immediately, but it could damage it into the near future, especially because you have to use a certain type of a cleaner to get it off, and it's a stays on cleaner because this is a solvent ink. So all you're going to do is you're just going to go, and we're going to just sort of dirty this up. Now you notice I'm not doing it. And you know what? You won't even really notice this, but you want to get a fair amount of this on. All the other ones that I kind of tried this on, it didn't have a lot, but it's so much better when it does have a lot on there. You can always go and add some afterwards. Now remember, once this gets on you, you're going to have certain things to dry it off. Now I want to run this through with my embossing folder, but I do not want any of that ink to get on the inside of my embossing folder. Just because it'll make it go a funny color. So I am just going to the rope will work. I do like the exposed brick, but I'll show you a sample of it with the rope as well. So I just want to make sure that this is good and dry. And because this is a foil paper, it stays quite hot for a while. So you also want to let that cool before we go and run that through our embossing folder. So yeah, and it's pretty well, it's dry. All right, so I'm just going to bring in, because unfortunately the little one, you know what, I think those stripes would work out really, really well with this too. Never thought of those. And that way I could have used I couldn't have, because I'm using a bigger piece of paper. So with the exposed foil, what I'm doing is I am putting this part, the silver part, up on the part that has the Stampin' Up label. And there is kind of, got to be kind of careful, because there is kind of lines that go with this. So I'm using just my plate number 1 on there, and I'm also going to use plate number 4. Like I say, this technique is a great technique for masking cards. You can do a lot of different other ones there as well. So let me just move that down. And then it's just going to be like this. And this kind of gives kind of a gun barrel-ish look to it, but we're not done yet. All right. So like I say, we've got that. Now, I don't think you really need to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. Hello, Angela. So I'm just going to actually use my embossing buddy. Whoops. No, I think that was dark already. And now I'm going to bring in my Versamark. And like I say, I'm using it with a sponge dauber. And I'm just going to put Versamark on there. I find if I don't, and we're just going to put it in different places. And I'm going to end up taking some of this off anyways. I think I'm now missing the one thing I needed with this, but that's okay. And then we're going to come in with gold embossing powder. So just come in. I like to use a piece of cardstock with this, but I don't have a piece handy. Oh, this will be good. You're still going to kind of get those roundish sort of looks that are from the sponge dauber. me get a little bit more up here. And then I did have my, oh, I still have it here. That's good. So this is the brush that is with the embossing powder accessory kit. And I'm just going to kind of just go and just sort of, I don't want it to have those round looks on there. We'll start with that and we can go back in and do some other playing around. Oops, and then we're just going to heat set this again. Hello, Lala. So I'm just going to heat set this. This is, it's sort of like work in progress. You're going to kind of do it to your own liking of how you do it. Now, before I forget, tomorrow my mystery challenge is going to be at a different time. I have a class here in the afternoon that I actually had to move to the afternoon for the majority of it. So I'm going to go on at 4:30 tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, the same time as this, and we'll go from there. Now, this is looking interesting, isn't it? It's kind of, oh, that's not even heat set yet. Now, I can go back in afterwards, and that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to move that embossing powder off, and now I'm going to come in with my copper embossing folder. Embossing powder. Have not used the copper as much as I thought I was going to. This is part of the metallics. They come in gold, silver, and the copper. I used to use copper quite a bit when I did an awful lot of country western sort of style things. All right, so let's come back in with that. Just gonna scoop this up. I don't like using a spoon in my embossing powder. I find it gets too much static in there. And it doesn't matter if you've gone over on the gold. And again, I'm going to come in with that brush, and we're just going to, I don't want it to look like it's been, you know, like it's, like, see how you can see where it looks like that sponge dauber is on there. So, all right, and then come again. Ah, hello, Patty from Washington. I love the way that we can get so much, we can reach so many different people now with the internet and with Zoom and lives and everything else. It's just kind of amazing. Now, you know what? I'm thinking to myself, I might want a bit more. Maybe not. This silver is looking, it looks a bit like silver embossing powder, right? So I think I'm going to kind of keep that. Maybe, you know what? Let's come in and just get a bit more. And I think I'll go back in with the copper. And we'll go there. Like I say, this is kind of a bit of a play. Kind of play around with it a bit. Now, while I'm doing a lot of this embossing, what I'm going to do too is I'm just going to emboss the sentiment, because I think that'll really bring it all together, right? So let's just take those circles off of there. Now, I guess a regular sponge would work well. Okay, and we'll heat that again. I'm going to move that out of the way. Oh, I've got the gold handy, so I think I'm going to do it with gold, the embossing. Yeah, that adds quite a bit to it. You definitely need some of the silver coming through some of that black coming through. All right. And it really, this gives a lot of texture to a lot of stuff. Now I'm going to come back in with that stays on, and I'm going to kind of dirty this up just a bit more. And see, just take a look. So pretty. And I love the texture that's on there. Now, before I go and put that other stuff away, I happen to have, this is from the Tailored Tags. And I am going to emboss this part. So I am using, like I say, the Biggest Wish. And I'm going to use Happy Birthday on here. And let's see. You know what? This is photopolymer. So I'm going to actually come in and I'm going to stamp this on the paper piece piercing mat. So I'm just going to, whoops, we're just going to put Happy right here. Our Dean is here. Yes, make sure you catch the replay if you're just going in there. It is, it's a great effect. And then I'm just going to put this birthday. Hopefully I've got that down low enough. Well, it's pretty close. And then I'm just going to come in with the gold. You guys know me and my embossing. I just absolutely love it. And a lot of people don't like it because they haven't mastered how easy it really is to work with. The key with embossing is not to overheat it and to practice with it. And the thing is too, and I'll say it over and over, is don't go like this, because that's what tends to make you overheat. Just go from one end and just move it along. And once it's changed color or changed the way it goes, it's done. So it's really quite that simple. All right. So I have basic black. I just have a regular card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Just going to go ahead and fold that into the mountain. And we'll just get a really good crisp score. Now, this copper clay. You know, the in colors weren't a real love of mine. I do like this one, however. But honestly, use them as neutrals, added neutrals. And wow, it just adds a whole different sort of look to your cards, that's for sure. So I'm just going to put that down. This is just a layer that's 4 by 5 1/4. Now see, this one, just look, whoops, look at that. How pretty that looks on there. Now, this looks to me like it's 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I think because I'd used the embossing on it, it shrunk a tiny little bit, but that's okay. You can live with that. And now there is a right and a wrong way with this. I'll just put that on there. So it's just like that. And like I say, doesn't this look like a masculine card, right? And the beauty of this, whoops, is, you know, when you put glue and you get glue on your silver foil, if you've got any damaged foil, you could use, you know, like marks on it because of glue or different things. This is an excellent technique to work with it because you're not going to see that. Right. And like I say, when I do these techniques, it's not really so much about the card itself. It's more about the technique itself. And you know what? I think we'll come in and put some of this elegant trim on there. You know what? I think if I do this way, this might work. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I'm so stoked and excited to see the new mini catalog. I know I also posted yesterday that the truck one was available. It was available for about 6 hours. Now it's not going to be available until October the 16th. So I did order quite a few of them for the people that wanted their classes. So I'm really happy that that did work out well for them. And I was working on cutting their classes all day today. So, all right. So we're just going to put that. And we'll come on with some. Now, really, I should be using black dimensionals with this, but I'm out of black. So I'm just going to put some of these on there. See, these colors really do go well together, don't they? I think they do anyways. Lost Lagoon. Well, you know what? There is a way that you can do get a Lost Lagoon. There is actually a technique that color your own embossing powder, and it's on this series. Oh, you know, this is almost overkill. So there is a technique that shows you how you could get Lost Lagoon. Your stuff could be colored with Lost Lagoon. Years ago, Stampin' Up used to also have scented embossing powders. They also had colored embossing powder. So pretty simple card, really, once you put that part together. Now, I did have. Now, you know, if you are going to use, if you use the gold foil, which would work, it definitely would work. You would use silver embossing powder, and you would use the copper, so that the other would come through. So it doesn't just limit you on the silver. Now I brought out those brushed metallic dots here, and of course now I can't. Oh, here they're right here. And I thought these would be really good on here as well. And let me show you the twisted rope one there as well. All right, so let's put that there. And one down there. And I do have some very vanilla for the inside. I do not know what I would decorate this with. Well, I'll put that on the inside. Yeah, Lila, what I'll do is I'll tag you in something once I find the video for it. If you, yeah, I'll get that for you. Thank you. It does stand out, doesn't it? So like I say, there you go there. Great masculine color. It looks great with the copper clay. Now here's the twisted rope. So this one has more silver. I'll show you this one. This one has more silver on it. It looks kind of cool. This one I put more of the embossing powder on it. And then this is the twisted rope. It doesn't look too bad. I really like the exposed brick to begin with. But hopefully, yeah, hopefully you like that technique. Remember, if you like this, give me the thumbs up. Share my video. That's one of the biggest compliments that you can give me. And tomorrow, like I say, I will be going, I'm going to be going live at about 4:30 for my mystery challenge. And the reason being for that is because I have people here for a class tomorrow. And we're doing Christmas in July. It's amazing. I love it. And let's see. yeah, so we'll see you tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific time. And I hope you like that. Tomorrow, this will be posted at 9:05 on my Facebook group, which is right down below here. It's a Stampin' with Diane Stampers group. And that's where I always post the tutorial that you can get. This is number 61, and this is the Tarnished Foil Technique. So I hope you give it a try. If you have a masculine card that you need to do, it's a great technique to use for a masculine card. Thank you. Awesome, you guys. Have a great day. Remember to create because it's great for the soul. Bye for now.